on this thing.
Guess what?
What?
We're live.
That's what's up. Welcome back, y'all. Hoping we ain't having no technical difficulties this week. But I'm
Hey,
pretty sure if y'all can't hear us, y'all gonna be inboxing us like last time. Like, we can't hear y'all.
absolutely.
It's your boy Low.
So we have this song, and I've been trying to get it flipped over. However, it doesn't matter because we need to get this out like right now. So I hope you guys can hear this. Lowe's, tell me if you can hear it.
I hear it very well.
Started in the sandbox, ended in a cell block. Same world, different rule. Yeah, yeah. From the sandbox, Tonka trucks in the dirt. Mama yelling from the porch, boy coming for it get dark. Knees scraped up, didn't know what it worth. Didn't know that same yard turned cold in the heart. Pops gone early, left a hole in the frame. Mama working double shifts, couldn't shoulder the pain. Started hanging with the older lords, learning the game. They ain't teach me how to live, they just showed me the flame. First fight, first lick, first time feel power. First time see a man fall, froze for an hour. Then it turned to the north, numb to the scene. Turning boy to a man, way too quick, no in between. Hurt him in his heart, now he moving like hollow. My brother caught a body as a shorty full of sorrow. Damn near 30 in that box, no tomorrow. Concrete tears, every night he had to swallow. From sandbar dreams to them cold cell blocks. But time don't move, but the pain don't stop. We all start innocent in the world getting real. Now bars on the soul, trying to learn how to live. From sandbar dreams to them cold cell blocks. Lost too many names, seen too many shots. If they don't tell our story, then we tell it ourselves. From the streets to the system, from the sandbox to cells. Released from the belly of the beast, still breathing. Inner peace, wrestling the grief, still bleeding. Freedom feels strange when your soul still caged. Trying to turn the pain into wisdom on the page. Mama barely recognized a man he became. Same eyes, different fire, different kind of flame. Every scar got a story, every step got a way. He survived what was meant just to seal his fate. Now he walk with a purpose, but the ghost still talk. Every dark alley memory follow when he walk. Pray to God hear him clearer than the judge ever did. Trying to teach the next youngin' don't repeat what he lived. Loved ones go missing, tears fall in silence. Some names get candles, others buried in violence. She blown blue eyes, it's a headline quick. If you brown from the hood, they don't mention that shit. Others on the news begging, please bring her home. Other mamas cry alone, no camera, no phone. Same pain, same loss, but the coverage unequal. One story go viral, the other stay secret. Posters on posts fade under the rain. Why the system pick and choose who deserve the pain? Every hour that passes, a life on a line. But if it don't fit, somewhere down the road, carrying all this weight, but we still don't fold. From sandbars dreams to them cold cell blocks. With time don't move, but the pain don't stop. We all start innocent in the world get real. Now it's bars on the soul, trying to learn how to heal. From sandbar dreams to them cold cell blocks. Lost too many names, seen too many shots. If they don't tell our story, then we tell it ourselves. From the streets to the system, from the sandbox to cells. Yeah.
Shout out to the brother Papalani, man. Better
Man.
known as Philip Stroud, man.
I have to say this though before we go on because they'll block that music out. Hold on. It was written by Free Philip Stroud and performed by Michael D. Winston Jr. And we got permission to actually put that on the show tonight.
All right. Now, before we go further, let me go on and get this disclaimer out the way. We might say a few things that inflame the passions today. And that was not trying to intend to rhyme. It just happened that way. All right. This podcast is a platform for conversation, education, and community dialogue. The views expressed by hosts and guests are their own and do not represent any organization, group, or institution. We do not promote violence, illegal activity, or harm of any kind. Our discussions may include difficult or controversial topics, but our goal is understanding, accountability, and change. We ask our audience to engage respectfully. Allegations, accusations, and naming of suspects without verified information will not be allowed. Yeah, keep that to yourself. This space exists to amplify voices, honor those impacted, and work toward unity and solutions in our communities. So we here today, y'all. I had a conversation with a youngster. When I talked to you about this was maybe Tuesday, right? I think I talked to you about it maybe Tuesday, Wednesday. And the youngster his name was Capone. I've heard that name many times. I got a real close friend named Capone. But I asked this youngster, why Capone? And all he knew was Al Capone was, a notorious gangster in the 20s and 30s or whatnot. Didn't know much about Al Capone other than him being a gangster. And that was his reason for wanting to adopt that name. Is my voice clear on here? Am I clear?
It's better now.
Okay. So because I had this conversation with Little Capone, never got his government name, but I felt like that was a topic we need to talk about. What's in a name, right? Because the names are very important, and depending on what you call yourself and what you calling yourself represents is how you see yourself and how you're gonna behave, right? So when I was talking to this youngster, and I know quite a few guys who got these Italian gangster names, right? Or just names that represent something like savage, right? I know some savages, the names. But in return, they try to carry out the actions that represent the name, right? The savages, the murders, the killers. These are some crazy nicknames when you sit back and think about them, right? Mad dogs, etc. Y'all get where I'm going with it, right? We'll take every name except our own and represent it to the fullest. It's like we don't want a name that represents something powerful from a positive standpoint. You know what I'm saying? We take on the Capones, the Italian people who despised our people, in place of something like a regular nickname your mother might have gave you. If that's the case, you could still be, Lil Jerry, right? You don't want to be Lil Jerry though. That's too common. That's kind of squarish. So you got to be, red devil, blue devil, right? You want to be a devil? I don't want to kick it with no devil, bro. You know what I'm saying? But this is the stuff we do to ourselves. But getting back to the historical context of what names represent, right? So historically, Africans came from the motherland, from multiple countries, through a choke point or a couple choke points on the western coast of Africa, right? And then we get over here. I say we because I'm talking about our forefathers, our foremothers, right? They got over here, and Mr. Charlie, European masters decided to strip them of them names, right? We don't want you knowing where you come from because the names have regional ties. Names have meaning, right? We don't want you to know that meaning, to have meaning associated with you, because if we are going to treat you, and I'm saying we as a master, we are going to treat you like property. A person who knows himself and where he comes from will not let themselves be treated like property, right? You're going to be too prideful. So they're going to break that by taking your name. So now they disconnected your name with a meaning, your name with a regional association, your tribal affiliation, because now you don't, right? Stop speaking your language. You can't speak your language no more under threat of beating or death. And y'all seen Roots. Y'all seen what happened to Toby ass, man. No, shit got real for Toby. And he broke.
But let's also make sure that we bring in the brown community as well.
Well, I mean the same thing. They are oppressed as well, and I'm half Puerto Rican, so yeah. I mean, they come from indigenous people, right?
Right.
And they had indigenous names. Whether you talk about Aztecs, whether you talk about Peruvian tribes, whether you talk about Taino or Arawak in the Caribbean countries, right? They had indigenous names, but when the conquistadors came through and decided to murder, massacre, and colonize them, they were forced to adopt Spanish names, right? But in the process of that, they were forced to adopt their religion. So their whole culture, just like ours, right, was replaced. So now you got the Jose's. Well, before you might have had something that's seemingly unpronounceable, unrecognizable today. But now you got the Jose's, the Miguel's, the Carloses, the Carlitos, etc. These are all Spanish names, man. Catholicized, and that's what they did. Again, fast forward, to the communities. We run from the so-called biblical names, because most of our parents or grandparents will name you out the Bible. My grandmother's name was Sarah, right? My mother's name Ann, right? I knew so many Marys. I knew some Ruths. I knew the Ruth the Moabitess. Like we knew all these names growing up because they were traditional biblical names, right? So this is what was passed down. Same thing with the boys. So many Matthews, Johns, right? Like this is what you grew up with. And then as time went on and we got more confident, we tried to reclaim our identities. So we started putting, the sh in front of names, Shaniqua, right? You start putting like the duh in front of boy names, Davion, and so on and so forth, right? The La Quinta, like LaQuisha, and so on and so forth, right? So we try to reclaim our names by making them distinct, right? In the process of doing that, we made them distinct, but we made it easy for those with prejudices to sit and point out who's whom when they hear certain names, right? So me and the sister was just talking today and a few days ago about well, how does this tie into when people go missing? And I'm saying, well, when you call and you give a name and then the missing person's name, and this is just a name I'm making up. If somebody's missing with this name, this is no offense to them, right? I'm just making the name up right now. And you say, yeah, I'm calling, man, my niece, Shanitra Davis, right? It's missing. She's been gone for 24 hours. We haven't heard from her. First thing they gonna do is associate Shanitra with an ethnic minority group, specifically a Black ethnic minority group, right? And then from there, a whole host of sometimes conscious, sometimes unconscious biases are gonna pop up, right? Lifestyle, man, she had to be in something risky, right?
Yep.
She probably from a really dangerous area. Ain't no telling what she was into. Yeah, man, she probably ran away, man. She only been gone 25. Get back with us, and when she been gone 48 to 72 hours, right? Critical times, right? If somebody kidnapped that young girl and you ain't on it immediately, you talking about 48 hours later, shit, they could be anywhere in the country.
And that's the problem. You can't even get in the media in 48 hours. And I hate to interrupt you, I don't like to do that. But let's just talk about my sister for a minute. She's biracial, and her name is Kaya Taylor. Kaya Taylor. So you can take that
anyway.
You know what I'm saying? But there was also a girl that went missing. I think it was like 16 days before my sister went missing. Her name was Veronica Reyes Diaz. She went missing 6 miles away from where. I'm sorry.
What was her name again?
Oh, I'm sorry. Veronica Reyes Diaz.
Okay. So Latino.
Yeah. Okay. She went missing 6 miles away from where my sister's car was found. Okay. This woman's dad tried to give the police the what do you call those things? A Chromebook, and it tells where this person went on their Gmail. I don't know how all that works, but he tried to give that to the police, and the police wouldn't even take it. So I'm saying that to say this: when they found a car running and abandoned, even though they didn't know it was Kaya Taylor, Veronica Reyes Diaz went missing 6 miles away. So why didn't you treat that like this woman was trying to get away from somebody? I don't know. It's just it's crazy. I think even my sister, as Kaya Taylor, got more, and I hate to say publicity, but that's exactly what it is, publicity, more than Veronica did. And Veronica had 3 small children.
Wow.
She didn't just leave her kids. She didn't
Nah,
just leave her
this
kids.
ain't no woman who done ran away and
Exactly.
just decided to go MIA. You know, we understand this, but trying to get help from people who have already come across, I mean, who've already adopted a certain lifestyle for people they don't know. They just associate risk with names, right? She's inherently risky because the name is associated with an area. The area is associated with a certain set of behavioral, cultural, you know what I'm saying, norms. And this is what's happening.
Yep.
She ran away, called us back in 48 hours, and we see what we can do, right? By that time, man, you don't know what kind of trauma or death that has occurred for these particular people. And but yeah, you know, today we wanted to talk about these names, man, and like why we understand that our historical names, certain names were stripped from us, right? So in the process, we all have. If my last name is Wallace, right? Colonizer. That's a colonizer's name, right? You got a colonizer name too, Jones, Johnson, Green, Black, right?
Overshoot.
Yeah, Overstreet. Yeah, you got a colonizer's name. That's just the
Yeah.
way it is. You know, and the socially dominant group did what they did. You know what I'm saying? They put their names on us because as property, you wanted your property associated with the owner. So that's what they did historically with slavery. They took away the ancestral name and associated the owner's name to their property, right? That's all that was. They wasn't doing it to give your ass a last name. They was associating little Mary Jane Jones right here with the Jones plantation down here, you know, on County Road, whatever. That's
That's
what that was.
mine.
That's what it was. You know what I'm saying? So as emancipation took place and we began to assert our newfound freedom, limited freedom, and independence, we began taking on different names, right? Different surnames. Like you got a lot of freedmans and freemans, right? These are people who are trying to let you know that I am no longer in bondage. I am free, right? So these are the surnames a lot of our ancestors or brothers and sisters from that time they took on and passed on now. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you had some Europeans named Freeman as well. But a lot of these names, Freedmen and Freeman, were African descents trying to reclaim their identity because if they didn't know what their surnames were from the motherland. And because they didn't know that, they didn't know from what area they came from either. Without the name, you can't put it to an area or a tribe. You see what I'm saying? Without the language, right? There's no linguistic connection to the region that your people hail from. So you basically a whole new culture over here with the same genes, right?
Yep.
Same genes, other side of the pond, whole new culture, right? And the whole new culture you're learning from a European standpoint because you're learning from a biblical, like the culture over here is biblical, right?
Yeah.
It has a biblical foundation, not our foundation in the fatherland, but this is what we had to adjust to. So now we adjust, and time goes on. You start getting into the 1900s or the 20th century, right? And you got brothers. You know, I'm coming up. I was hearing about Malcolm X and Muhammad Ali my entire life, right? They were the ideals of resisting, you know what I'm saying, the European American culture. Don't want your name. So brother Malcolm Little took on the X, right? Muhammad Ali, brother Cassius Clay, took on Muhammad Ali. It became part of the Sunnah. Same thing with brother Shabazz, Malcolm X. You know what I'm saying? And this is what it was. So when we saw that, even though I was, you know, he was dead 15 years when I was born. Brother Shabazz, Malcolm X was. This is what we wanted to be in the community, even though we were still with a destructive mindset. We wanted to take on names that detached us from the European American culture, right? We didn't want to claim that shit, right? So yeah, my name is Carlos, and I never really had a nickname other than Los because I went with creating all these damn nicknames that you know what I'm saying. My name is Los and Carlito, and I was gonna be cool with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that was good enough. But my name is still, you know what I'm saying, the name of a colonizer, right? Spanish conquistadors, Carlos. They They spread out. This is what they did. My father's Puerto Rican, right?
Um,
Ortiz. Yeah, Ortiz. That's a colonizer's name. You see what I'm
okay.
saying?
So the
So
Wallace came from your mom?
that's my mom's, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, so all these, what I'm saying, European surnames, names, first names, surname, like it's all European.
Yeah.
So what we do in the communities is we take on names to try to detach or make ourselves distinct, what I'm saying, from the European culture in which we live. Yeah, people be talking about you can do this and make it our own, even when we took the N word, try to take the N word back, right? And try to take away the negativity associated with it, which is pretty much impossible to do, yet we still use it freely, right? You know what I'm saying? Nigga, nigga, nigga. You hear it all day, every day. I'm guilty of it as well. Can you hear me? I'm guilty of it as well, right? Using the N word. I understand the historical context of it. And I know when and when not to use it, right? Even though my elders would tell me I should never use it. And I can't necessarily disagree with them. But we all have to live our individual lives and speak our own experiences. So I'm gonna respectfully do me and respect them in the process of doing me, right? But when you start talking about why people want to hold on to certain names to produce a certain image, this shit gets a little deeper than just wanting to disassociate yourself from the name your mother gave you at birth, right? If you run around here and your name is associated with like heinous activity and you doing it with pride, especially if you are an older guy or woman, then it's some things you haven't thought about and your priorities may be a bit askew, right? So you might want to think about you running around here representing a name associated with heinous activities, right? That's not something to be proud of, right? It's definitely not something we want reflected in the younger generation that's looking up to us in these communities from which we hail, right? Go ahead, Katrina.
When you say that, like, what does that mean as far as a personal part of you?
Meaning, say that. So,
like, you're Carlos Wallace, so
right.
You're not like Carlos Velasquez or Carlos. Like, how does that affect you as far as your last name? I mean, if you were a Velasquez, let's just say, do you think you would be more loving to your Spanish name?
I mean, I don't mind my name now. I just understand, like, where it comes from. Anglicized it is Charles, right? I understand these names that we carry for the most part. Not all of us, but for the most part, are Eurocentric names, right? First and Sir, they are Eurocentric names, and I'm okay with it. I recognize it. It's not something I can run around here at age 44, finna be 45, right? And start calling myself something different when people who've been knowing me for 44 years, they still gonna call me Lil Carlos or Carlito or Los, right? So I'm at that point right now. And I'm just aware of it. So all we can do now is provide people with the information and make them think about the names that they adopt or that they call people, right? Because even when you don't give someone a name, when you start associating people with a name, right? Like calling kids bad. Man, that little boy bad as hell, right?
Yes.
This is what happened with me, right? You keep calling the little boy bad so much and you giving them attention when you saying it.
They believe
and this is how he's going to seek the attention by becoming bad.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Well, damn, really don't know what bad is, but okay. You say, I got you, bro. I'm gonna go back to that Freeman. But yeah, you start calling the kid bad, right? And you getting attention because it's you being bad, right? I want that attention now.
Yeah.
So in order to get that attention, I gotta act a certain way,
Mm-hmm.
right? Even if I don't want to act a certain way all the time, I might be seeking the attention from a particular person when I want it. So now I got to commit certain acts in order to get that attention. Damn, boy, you bad as hell. All you do is fight around here. Damn, boy, you bad as hell. All you do, you see what I'm saying? And now I'm associated with that. So now in order to be with you or be around you, I got to meet them expectations. So now you expecting me to be bad. Every time you see me, you saying I'm bad. Well, let me go on and meet them expectations.
Do you feel like you were that way before you were in prison?
Absolutely.
Really?
Yes.
You were bad because they already called you bad.
Because I was associated as being such. And in order, so now you absorb the projection, right? When you start saying people bad, man, and they start looking to you so you can continue to say they're bad, right? Now you created a reputation. You see what I'm saying? Character and reputation not the same. The character is who you are. The reputation is who you're perceived to be. You see what I'm saying? So the character who I am, I was raised right. And he used to kick off in my ass and make me read. I was an honor student the whole nine. Far from a slow head, right? But the reputation.
I'm sorry, go ahead. So how did that flip? How did people just say, oh, okay, Carlos is Los or whatever you would call back then, Carlito. Like, like, oh, he's bad. So how did it flip from that type of okay, I'm smart, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, to okay, I'm fighting everybody? I don't understand how it flipped like that.
Look, it's not necessarily flipping, because you can be both, right? I was still making the honor roll while I was considered bad, right?
Really?
Yeah, hell yeah. So but you start create certain behaviors because now you've created a reputation for being a certain way. Okay. Right? So now you want to maintain this standing with a certain group of people, right? With the reputation. You have to keep committing the acts. You have to keep being a certain way. So you can at least maintain, if not increase, the reputation, the expectations that goes with the reputation, right? So now the character is what it is, but you are covering that up with the acts that have formed and continue to maintain the reputation. You know what I'm saying? And that's just what it was. So you fast forwarding, and before long, you are committing shit where you've crossed the proverbial Rubicon, the point of no return, right? Mm-hmm. And now you just gotta live and die with this shit. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Don't mean you can't change. Because you can change. All you gotta do is make some decisions and stand on it. But when you young, you still kind of lack the foresight of what firm choices are. So I paid for it. You know what I'm saying? I end up making some choices that cost me 30 years of my life, basically, at 15. It is what it is, man. You take that shit on the chin and you don't take pride in it. And I told you, I don't live with regrets. So, you get the lessons from that shit and you try to be better because of it. So you teach the lessons from your experience to the shorties that you see familiarity in. When you see them little dudes out there that's like the little Carloses, like you try to get in their face and let them know, boy, this ain't gonna play out the way you think, because you ain't got the foresight right now. Hell, you ain't even fully developed that 14, 15, hell, 21, 22, 23 as a male. Right. Don't finish development until you early 20s, 24, 25. Yeah. So you're talking about a 13, 14, man, you don't know shit. Right? But you swear to God you do. Yeah. And you feel like, especially if you're doing grown man shit, that can't nobody tell you what to do. So you didn't unconsciously adopted these names other people have put on you. Now I ain't talking about the Loses and the Mad Dogs, right? But if they calling you Mad Dog because
it's the reason
around here, you know what I'm saying, doing some wild shit, then now the name is fitting, and you're gonna try to keep that name. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. When the name, you start to take on the name, and then shit, you making a bunch of bad decisions as a result. Yeah. But we got some comments on here, and the brother was saying, go back to that freeman, right? So when you go back to the freeman, that's what they used to say on the paper when slaves got their freedom, right? It would say on a lot of that paperwork that they had to carry with them, by the way, because they could get snatched up and put into slavery again if they did not have their freedom, their papers on them, right? But it would say that on it, freedman or freeman. So a lot of the brothers would just take on that surname, right? Yeah, my name is Matthew. I used to be, Jones or whatever, coming from that plantation, and Matthew Friedman. And it was easy to do. It was easier to do back then than now because it was a matter of simply putting your name on the X, where the X goes, and then from there it'll be associated. Go ahead.
But at the same time, so I do a lot of genealogy work, and we have Friedman's census reports, and it actually says Freeman's census reports, and that's how we can find. Well, that's how I found a lot of my ancestors on those Friedman reports. So it's there.
Yeah, and I'm just saying, like, but so I think we did. Me and my mother and them did the ancestry.com thing, right? When I was in prison, and it only went back to, I believe, like the 1850s.
Oh, you're Puerto Rican, right?
But that's the Catholic side, so they have great records, right?
Exactly.
this is my mother's side. My father's Puerto Rican. My mother's a sister.
Okay, and that's
people from Mississippi.
That's even easier with your Puerto Rican side, because my mom's family is from the Virgin Islands, and they practice Catholicism. They have absolutely amazing records, but I found like the person that came from Africa and made my great 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 grandpa. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That was just. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go off like that. But
no, you good. We talking about names, and that's important. That's important. But the freedmen or freedmen, like I've actually seen it on the census reports, right? And I think my mother has said some came with the ancestry.com thing, right? Yep. And on it you would see, like, I saw my grandparents' names on there. I think this is the 1920s
census reports.
Yeah. And you would see that name on there, which means that name was not that man's original surname. I mean, obviously it wasn't, because he's hailing from the descent of Africa. So anything not African leaning is you know what I'm saying, some European shit. Unless he adopted the name that was on his paperwork and put that on there as a freedman or a free man, right? And that's kind of where it comes from. So to the brother Brad, who was asking me about that, that's kind of the gist of it. I know it's a bit brief, but that's really what it was. People was just adopting that name because it told
deep.
them, it told the world that I am free now. I am no longer property of whatever surname they had prior to taking this one, right? But yeah, and even looking on here, it became the name of choice for newly freely free people, enslaved, right? Newly free people, right? On that name because it denoted we are no longer slaves, and that's really the simple gist of it, good brother. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't a whole lot to it other than that. I'm letting you know I ain't a slave no more, and I ain't your property no more. So take your ass on down the road. but without that paperwork in the wrong area, your ass could be back in slavery, and you got to repurchase your freedom.
Straight up. And let's flip it to missing persons. And I thank you, Loves, for bringing all of what you said, because that still kind of ties in again with missing persons. When we do forensic genealogy, we have to understand different surnames and how they took on those names. And forensic genealogy has a lot to do with missing persons.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to do with the audience was like give some names of Black people that are currently missing, white people that are currently missing, and Hispanics that are currently missing, and see how much these people know about these various names. All right, y'all ready? We got some more.
Mm.
Why you think only us from the urban community?
Want the names of destruction.
Oh, please answer that, because I thought that was real wild when you were like, he called himself Capone.
Okay, so this is opinion, right? But I read a little bit, few books, you know what I'm saying? And I remember reading this one book in prison. And I don't know the entire title of it, but I think it's by Amos Wilson. It's called The History of Black on Black Violence, right? And I think with names like that, destructive names, we trying to separate ourselves into somebody to be significant. We are seeking respect, right? Recognition in all the wrong ways, right? So when you separate yourself and being a killer, being known as a killer, in the community afforded you a certain type of respect, without putting it, any other way. If people knew without knowing, because I'm real killers shouldn't be, they moving in silence. But if people assuming that you a killer or a murderer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or that you do dirt, which means you one of them dudes who put in work. I'm just basing off the names that the brother gave as examples, right? Then they normally come with a different type of affection and respect in our communities. Because most communities, man, our dreams be like the bar be so low of what we want to be, man. Like our aspirations be low, right? So when you see a dude known for putting in work and he got the things that you want as a youngster that you don't currently have, you put him on a pedestal, right?
Yeah.
That cat named killer or murder or do dirt, right? He might be riding around here in what you consider a success story car, right? A toy, money in his pocket, working when he want, beautiful women in the passenger seat, different ones from time to time. And these are the things you associate with prestige, where you from, right? So we associate his name with this pedestal we put him on because he has things that we don't have, right? Now you want to be just like him, murder, killer, do dirt. And if you knowing that this is what he doing and this name's associated with it, you're gonna do the same. You know what I'm saying? So now you admiring somebody for all the wrong reasons. Been there, done that, bro. I'm telling you. You know what I'm saying? Started selling drugs at a very young age. Mother didn't have a clue, right? Very young age. Started selling drugs before I was having sex. Carrying guns before I was having sex. You know what I'm saying? Barely had hair down there, type young, right? So I'm associating a lifestyle with the person, and the person has a name. Well, I want my own name. I want to be known like him, but I want my own name. So now I'm adopting that name, and I'm going back to what I'm talking about 10, 15 minutes ago. When you get that name, you got to maintain it, right? So now you calling yourself killer. Well, ain't nobody going to respect that shit if you ain't known out here as a shooter. Point blank, period. Y'all know what it is. If you out here and you calling yourself something, but ain't nobody seeing you as that, they don't associate that with you, then you laughable. So now you got to sit here and associate the name with an act. You know what I'm saying? So you got to carry that pipe. You got to sit here and put that work in if your name do dirt, so on and so forth. And that's just how the snowball effect happens. Before you know it, you accumulate felonies. You in and out the joint. You got bullet holes in you. You done been robbed. You robbed. Like, it's all type of shit that come with that lifestyle and them names, bro. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of where it go, bro. I hope I answered your question, man. But that's kind of the gist of it, bro. And sometimes people just taking on names just to be taking on names, bro. But for the most part, when you get these names, you are consciously or unconsciously trying to maintain that name. And then most times you're trying to increase the prestige that come with it. So if you got a name like Money, you know what I'm saying? One of my brothers, Money. You know what I'm saying? He probably watching this motherfucker or hearing about it. But Money, that associates you with having that sack. You can't be a broke ass dude around here talking about your name Money,
right?
So now you gotta at the very least project the image that denotes your name is accurate, right? They calling you Money and you run around here broke and bummy. That shit funny. Now that's a bar for your ass. You know what I'm saying? But if you calling yourself Money and you known for hustling, then it's apropos. You see what I'm saying? That shit coincide. But also that name and that association, what you're doing, gonna bring other shit. Well, money known for having a sack.
Yeah.
Shit, the Jack boys out here looking at money now, and the police looking at him too. You know what I'm saying? So now you got your head on the swivel because of the name and the association with the behavior is accurate. Even if it ain't, these niggas gonna find out. You know what I'm saying? So now you got to, you got to be on point. Pardon the body. You got my man's on here, the brother. I mean, I'm taking holy names or righteous names. It's the same thing, good brother. When you take on a holy name, man, you are trying to apply a name that gives an image that you feel like reflects reflects who you are.
Yeah.
And when you get rid of the money name and you've taken your shahada, and now we call you Abdul Muhammad or whatever, whatever holy name or righteous name you've taken on, right? You part of the Sunnah. You one of the Moor brothers. You one of the Moabites. When you take on these names, then you are no longer, at least the image anyway. You are no longer living the life that you were prior to taking this name. If you were a killer or a murderer or whatever, right? If you drop that name and you calling yourself now Brother Muhammad, Brother Abdul, you know what I'm saying, Brother Malik, right? Then you want to be right. You want to be associated with the Sunnah that you reflecting from the book, right? This man makes good decisions. He's moving in tune with law. By law, we mean in natural law. You know what I'm saying? We ain't talking about American law. We talking about natural law. We talking about the law in the book, and we talking about the law of the universe, right? You in harmony with all. It ain't necessarily about American law. But that when you take them names, that's what you want to put out there. And and when you do that, you have to make your behavior, you see what I'm saying, reflect what your name is. It's the same thing. Yeah. So yeah, but we can get back to
I'm sorry. I thought that was deep. Like when he asked that, I was like, that's a good, caveat to go.
That's a great question. Right?
Yeah.
And this is what we're dealing with every day. When you hollering at these shorties and you meeting them on their terms, yeah. I knew a little brother growing up, his name was Pissy. And that didn't have nothing. I ain't gonna give y'all his real name, but I remember Pissy from Glen Park in the Juvie Center back in the 90s, right? Hell of a name. I never got why he got that name. I'm assuming he peed in the bed when he was That's all I thought about. But I'm saying the name is gonna put a certain image in your head because it's humans.
Exactly.
We are visual creatures. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
that's what it is.
So I'm gonna give a couple of black names, a couple of white names, just kind of mix them up, just so everybody can understand how the news stations, the newscasters, the podcasters, the advocates will gravitate towards one name than the other. Excuse me. So let's just say Tani and Anissa Reed.
I know Anissa.
If you guys think that's a black name or a white name, please put it in the comments.
Tani and Anissa.
And Anissa. Yep.
So is it Anissa or just Anissa?
Anissa.
Okay, so Tani and
Anissa. Tani and Anissa Reed.
I know Anissa. Yeah.
Yeah. You're not supposed to give clues.
I said I know Anissa. That's not a clue. And if you assume she's one thing or something else, that's on you.
And that's what we're talking about today. Yeah, let's say Paige Summer Moore.
Paige.
Is that a black name or a white name?
Black.
Paige Summer Moore is actually white, and she's missing from Oklahoma.
Yeah, that name sounds white.
Paige. Let's do. This is going to be too easy. Kiara Coles. Is she black or is she white?
Why that's going to be too easy?
Kiara Coles.
Shit, Keira Knightley's an actress.
Is she white or black? I don't know who that is.
She's English. She's British.
Oh,
White
okay.
girl.
Well,
She's not white. She's European. White means something else. But yeah, she a European. Yeah.
okay, we're gonna come back to what you just said in a minute, so you can explain that to me because you
I'm
lost
just
me.
saying, white means pure, unblemished, etc., etc. You know, I'm a Moor, man. We on,
Oh,
yeah,
that's right.
European.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Kara Coles, white or black?
Look, bro, put in there black. look, I hope talking about black.
Kara Coles is actually black. Yes, and she's missing from Chicago. She was a postal worker, and she's been missing since October 2018.
Whoa.
Ashley Summers. Is she black or is she white?
That's a black girl, gotta be. I don't know.
Put it in the
That's
comments,
in between. That's an in between name. You don't know. You can be anything with that one.
Ashley Summers.
In between.
Yeah, nobody's
She's a mixed girl.
Nobody's commenting on that.
They trying to figure it out. Ashley black. The brother
Ashley
say she's black.
Summers.
Black. What is she? No, white. He don't know. He talking about black, no white.
She's actually
Unsure.
So Ashley Summers is actually look. Thank you, Brad.
European, man.
Ashley Summers is actually missing from Indiana, and she is definitely white.
How long she been missing?
2018. Yep, from Indiana.
8 years.
Let's go with I'm picking this name because it is so similar to my sister's case. Okay.
Get it.
I'm sorry, it kind of made me tear up. Tiffany Foster. Is she white or is she black?
That's a black name.
You think so?
Yeah.
Why?
I grew up with too many Tiffany's.
Really? All the Tiffany's I know are black.
They all sisters. With hands. They got hands.
Really?
They coming over here. They coming from yeah.
That's crazy. Because well, again, I think it's a lot to do with our I was born and raised in Florida. You were born and raised in the Midwest. Tiffany is a white name.
It might be, but I know the Tiffany's I know, they sisters with some mitts.
And you know what? Everybody is actually saying she's black. She actually is.
What is she?
Tiffany in Florida is the whitest white chicks ever. So Tiffany is missing from Florida. And when I say that she has correlations to my sister, her car was also found running and abandoned on the side of the road with all of her belongings inside of the car.
When? How long ago?
I don't have a name for that. I mean, a date for that one. My apologies.
No, you good.
Let's do, everybody's going to know this name. Gabby Petito. And I'm not just going to say white or black. I'm going to say a different nationality than white and black.
That sounds Italian.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So do people feel like an Italian name is worthy of getting coverage more than a black person or more than a white person? And I'm going to, once those answers come through, I'm going to share something on the case. Gabby Petito. I'm sorry.
So again, Italians, Irish, turn of the century. I'm not talking about the 21st century. I'm talking about the turn of the 20th century, right? Late 1800s, 1900s, right? Italians and Irish were the first niggas over here. You know what I'm saying? Outside of the Africans, right? That's what they were. They weren't considered as white, right? That shit happened when the powers that be, the socially dominant group, decided to pad their numbers, right, and make it all inclusive. You know what I'm saying? People from the Mediterranean, anywhere they had European stock in them, they decided to make them white in order to pad the stats. In order to pad the stats, so that now these people that they were just treating like shit wouldn't see themselves and identify with the oppression that these Africans that had just been freed were going through and unite with them for anything, right? You are different from them, right? Even though we would just treat you like, you know what I'm saying, a nigger, so to speak.
Yep.
You are now considered white. Check on the box. You good. And there you have it. But turn of the century, yeah, they ass got treated too. They had to live in ghettos and strive and fight for survival, right? Because the ones who considered themselves white didn't want to fuck with them. There you have it. It's all in the name. And now you fast forward to the 21st century, and shit, Italian. Well, a lot of Italians. I know some Italians. They know their history. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They know their history. They are culturally intact.
But a lot of people in the public, whether they're if they're not white or black and they're Italian or Sicilian, whatever, you're right. They don't know. They just think that they're part of the white culture when they don't know their actual history. I can also tell you with missing persons, if you're Hispanic, black, or white, you are put into a certain category. If you are Ecuadorian, if you are Japanese, if you are any other race rather than black, white, or Hispanic, you are automatically placed into the white column of those people that are missing, which enhances their probability of being on the forefront of the American eye.
Yeah, so I have read a stat. I know we make up about approximately 13%. When I say we, I'm talking about
say that again.
I had read a statistic. Blacks in America make up approximately 13% of the population, and over 30% of the missing people, right? And get about 20% of the coverage, right? Like we overrepresented in the missing persons department and underrepresented on the attention that we get for being missing, right? That if it's not clearer than that like you got to give a fuck about yourself, man, because they don't give a fuck about you, bro. Like I don't really know how to put it out there. 13% of the population, over 30% of the missing, but you get 20% of the coverage, right? That's crazy.
But let's add a little bit to it. Again, these people that are okay, say their mama was Japanese and their daddy was black. They're going to be put into the category of being white. You see what I'm saying? And then let's go a step further. They always, and I'm going to say always, if it's a child of color that went missing and they're black, they're going to say they're a runaway. So they're not going to be put into the statistics of a missing person.
Right.
So we're saying all of this to say that none of these statistics are actually correct.
Breaking up. You breaking up. Stats.
Yeah, that's what I said. You were breaking up and I couldn't hear what you said.
So statistics aside, right? We talking about names, we talking about stats. associated with people with these names, and it comes down to this at the end of the day. Like, what type of people do we want to be? Like, you can't change what the next man do. Ultimately, the next man has to, next man or woman has to make their own life choices, right? Again, I'm gonna repeat something my godmother say. My mom G tell me all the time. She told me this for years. You are responsible for input, not outcome. That being said, man, you got to be the message you preach, right? If you around here talking about you wanna make some type of change, affect some type of change in your community, right? And you around here calling yourself, I don't know, a Chirac warrior. Even acknowledging Chicago where Chirac said something. I was in prison talking about this with one of the elder generals for the moles, right? We talk about, this brother 50-something years old talking about he from Chirac. All due respect. Man, Chicago, man, everybody in Chicago ain't participating in the violence and shit that's going on there. Everybody don't take pride in that shit. You know what I'm saying? So when you start doing that, talking about you from the rack, you associate Chicago with Iraq, and you taking pride in it, that means you taking pride in the destruction and death that's going on there of our people. You know what I'm saying? People who dying on these street corners and by the police and in these alleys, they black and brown. What's up? Okay, I can't see or hear you.
So you're saying a person from Chicago, even though these people say Chirac, that if they claim, okay, I'm from Chicago, that's something different?
No, that's not what I said.
Correctly?
I'm talking about the name. We talking about what's in the name, right? Well, when you start,
is the name that you're talking about right now.
Chirac is what we call Chicago, right? So why they call it Chirac, right? Because you associating the violence that's been going on in Chicago with Iraq, a war zone,
right?
When you do that and you do it with pride, you glamorize the death and destruction that's going on in the city. That's the death and destruction is primarily going on in Black and Latino communities. That's what you're doing. You might not see the association, but I was in prison with it. I'm in prison with the little dudes that's from Chicago. That when they get active, you know what that means? When they getting physically active, they letting them know I'm from the rack. This how I get down. You associating one activity with a name, and the name coming from the war zone, Iraq. You see what I'm saying?
So are you just saying that they're saying, okay, I'm from the rack, or are you saying, okay, I'm from Chicago, and other people
get that all the way around the board?
So how do people claim and I'm not where they're from? I'm from Florida. I'm from Polk County. Everybody know Grady Judd, but I'm not going to say, well, I'm not from Chicago if I was born and raised in Chicago.
Yeah,
Is that what you try? I want to make sure that I understand being on
then you gonna have to catch me, because right now you way off point, off basis, right? I'm saying when you accept certain names that are attached to certain activities, then you are promoting the behavior attached to that. You see what I'm saying? So Iraq being a war zone, and you talk about you from Chirac, and because it's you from Chirac, you move a certain way. If that certain way that you saying you move is violence prone or destructive prone, you see the connection here. It's in the name. And I was talking to the general brother, about the name that we supposed to be as members in the leadership community in our areas, that we supposed to be promoting a different mindset, a different mode of behavior. So to be running around saying I'm from the murder capital, right? From Gary.
Right.
I'm from the murder capital. That sound like I'm promoting murder. You see what I'm saying? Destructiveness.
Okay. So instead of saying
I don't promote that shit.
So instead of saying I'm from Chicago, they're saying I'm from Chirac. Is that what you mean? Okay.
That's exactly
that's what I was asking. I'm sorry. Yeah. I know we lagging a little bit with the Wi-Fi. So I get that. Instead of saying I'm from Chirac, I'm saying I'm from Chicago and my name is KT Money. You know what I'm saying?
Whatever. I'm just saying.
that.
The whole show was about names, so I'm associating the name and identity with a behavior, right? The behavior and identity go hand in hand. Because the name, you could be any name, but if you're not living up or committing the acts that make that name relevant, then it's just a name. But when you run into about I'm from the murder capital, this is how I get down. I'm out here, trying to murder people, and right, you associating the two, and you doing it with it. Yeah, no, we ain't on that kind of time. And there's members of the community with positions of so-called authority where people look at you for guidance. You got to move better than that, right? We not out here promoting that shit, because the only people that's paying for that is the people next door to us.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
You start talking about so I'm from Gary. I ain't lived in Gary forever though, because I've been in prison for forever, right? But I know the murder rate was very low, considerably low from where I'm from and what it used to be. I think it was 24 homicides in Gary last year, which is great compared to what it was when I left the streets at like 130. Right.
What?
So when you start talking about, but even that's 24 families that have been deprived.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? Not including all the friends and all the other people that love these 24 people that's been deprived of somebody that they care about. Yeah. So it's another way of looking at this stuff, right? And when you start looking at it like that, like you can't with good conscience be around here wanting to promote it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Now stop impersonalizing it, meaning making that shit like, oh, I don't know them, you know what I'm saying? And if you start personalizing it, you know what I'm saying, the golden rule, doing unto others, putting that empathy in play, like, damn, what if that was my niece? What if that was my nephew? Right? You start looking at this shit a little different, right? You start seeing families and shit as just, not just as families who lost somebody, then that's why they're moving. No, you start associating with, damn, I wonder how my auntie will feel. I wonder how my mama gonna feel. Et cetera, et cetera. And you start wanting to move a little better, bro. You just, look at that.
Yeah.
133 homicides in Indianapolis. That's actually a reduction. That's a huge reduction from when I was just in the prison reading y'all newspapers and stuff in Indianapolis. Hope said there were 133 homicides in Indianapolis. That's a huge reduction. But it's not a reduction to the people who lost them, the 133 people.
That's crazy.
Hell, now it's 240. I'm just saying, Chicago always in the 400 to 500, 600 range. You talking about 400, 500, 600 families, loved ones, friends, and everybody else who done lost people, bro. So we got a little off track with that, but that's what the names mean. Iraq, Gary Murder Cap, Naptown. Naptown got their own little thing going on, man. But shit, everywhere the same under a different name, man.
Yeah.
When you know it's just a different name, same game, different name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the most destructiveness is happening in our areas, and it's happening from us to each other.
Yes.
So
yes.
even when you start talking about organizational names, right? Names mean something. Again, Gangster Disciples went to growth and development for a reason. You start talking about Vice, you start talking about Blood Crips, you start talking about the history of this shit, right? And you start talking about the historical activities that went along with these names. Well, as time has been going on, the MO, the modus operandi, has been changing with some of these organizations. Motherfuckers are no longer out for destructive purposes. They out there to reach and teach and build up their areas. But sometimes people still associate the name with the past behavior, and they want to represent that. Sometimes it's easier to be destructive than it is to be constructive. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. It doesn't take much energy or effort.
Yeah, they're gonna accept the destructive name.
Yeah, so that's why I was going with that. But yeah, man, look at that. Look, brother said Indianimals.
Hold up. Let's back that road up. Listen, I'm gonna take you off the screen. animals. I ain't gonna let you talk about my now hometown. Listen. This show is like, when we was talking about going over an hour or keep it at an hour, and people talk about, no, let's keep it at an hour. Well, we 4 minutes over our hour.
Okay.
That's that BS. I'm going to continue to say, it's my turn. I got the floor. This is the stuff that I'm talking about. It's stuff that we can actually continue to talk about. I'm going to put this out there, Lois, and I have not talked to Lowe's or anybody else about this. But I think our next show should have some elites or some supreme elites, and talk about, I'm not going to say past. I'm going to
we're not going to be talking about supremes as if a bunch of supremes.
No, I'm not going that way. I'm talking about, let's talk about the past of the people that actually know the past.
So you want the next show to be about street organizations?
Yes, because street organizations tie so close to missing persons. Because back then, again, I'll say this like I said it at every event I've ever had, our street organizations kept our community safe. We didn't have all these missing Black people in our Black communities. We didn't. We policed our own streets.
I'm saying
that's important.
So
and I think
we the first line of defense. We supposed to be the first line of defense. We supposed to be the vanguard force, right?
Exactly.
At some point along the way, man, you know, when I say we, I was a part of it as well. We lost our way, right? And it became a lot of selfishness, right? And in that selfishness, we began to neglect the communities that we were supposed to be defending, right? Protecting, uplifting. We, and you can put a whole host of reasons why, right? Money, drug disputes, territory. You like, it's all type of stuff that can go, but along the way, we began to neglect our communities. Now here we are. You want to talk about the history of street organizations? Any ones in particular? We figure out who we need to get on here, and if they are willing and able to, we get them on here. Do some calls and see if it can happen.
I think I know a couple that would also talk about like how they made sure our streets were safe for us. And even when you say that, and that people, had different reasons for doing what they did in the communities, some of it was survival.
But absolutely.
I can tell you that when my mom died, I know my brother was out there doing what he did to survive, to make sure that he ate, to make sure that his kids ate.
I don't disagree with that at all.
Yeah. So,
but a lot of it wasn't. A lot of it was exploitation.
Agreed.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. So, to you guys that are listening, if you think that's a good idea or not a good idea, listen, I'm sorry. You see all these comments?
I do. Well, we passed our 8 minutes, Chief. So yeah.
Along with social engineering.
That is the systemic stuff we talk about. Social engineering. When you put choke points in certain things that we can and
broke
can't
up.
do.
Say it again.
When you prevent us from pursuing certain things because we are from certain areas or we have certain hue. This is the part of the social engineering. When you promote certain activities over others, which gets people to looking at, well, these as realistic choices and these are not. Entertainment, sports, etc. Like when you promote these more and show these as success stories over, being a high school math teacher or history teacher, or being a police officer who does the right thing, or a fight. Like when you see options that push you towards this more than that, that's a part of the social engineering that Brother Bradley talking about, right? You socially engineer people to believe that they have limited, abilities, that you are now conditioned to believe you can't cut it in this area over here, that you can over here though if you X, Y, and Z. But the reality is the odds of you becoming, a little baby or LeBron, or what I'm saying, like that shit is so slim, or the next big actor or actress. See, you see the results on screen. Man, you don't see the hard work them do. Even the little babies, the little babies of the world putting in. Yep. They putting in work to harness that talent that they have. They ain't just going in there writing rhymes or just shooting a basketball or just getting on screen and creating a movie. That shit is hard work, and for most of that shit is schooling, right? Training. So no, you got the same opportunity to make it in another field and be successful, depending on what success means to you, right? To become a teacher or a lawyer or a doctor or a policeman or a fireman or a congressman or a judge or whatever. You can do that too. You just got to put the work in for it. And you might get some obstacles along the way that may deter you. And if you one of them motherfuckers that's easily deterred, then they gonna deter you fast and you gonna switch lanes. But if you really serious and you got that perseverance to pursue what you want and take the obstacles people put before you as challenges to overcome, then you can go do that shit, bro. You know what I'm saying? There's all type of stuff out here, despite the social engineering to make us believe we can't do certain stuff. There's mechanisms in place that if we did our research, that we can still take advantage of grants and interest-free loans and so on and so forth to be our best selves in that field that we want to be. This is a little known fact, man, that I'm gonna get off here, right? A little known fact. When I was a shorty, I used to want to be a photographer. I never told many people that because I think I told my guy Manwich this in the joint, when I first met him a long time ago. Like, I wanted to be a photographer, right? Because I remember seeing some black and white pictures, and I believe the photographer name was Gordon Parks, older brother. I believe that's his name. It was Gordon. Maybe Gordon was his last name, but I saw that, and it made me want to try to do that, right? And then I got off track at such a young age, man. I never even attempted to pursue the dream, right? I just began living the nightmare. But with that being said, man, here we are. We want y'all comments, y'all constructive criticism. Don't just be criticizing us without some constructiveness to it. We talking y'all shit. I'm gonna talk it back respectfully. And yeah, man, let us know what y'all thought about the show, man.
And stop putting it. Yes, no, not inboxes. Put it on the page. We get so many inboxes that it doesn't put it on the page, because it may be an interesting conversation. It may even be a debate if we want it to be. So debate is good as long as it's constructive.
Absolutely.
So I cannot believe you let us go 13 minutes.
Man, you end before I get to 14 minutes. So I appreciate y'all time and patience, man. I like the show today, and I hope y'all liked it too, man. I hope we was able to give y'all some information that maybe you all didn't have. And, like she said, man, let us know what y'all think on the page, man. Hit the like button, and we'll be back next week, man.
Peace and blessings.
Peace and blessings.